Gary, played by Mikey North, has become somewhat of a more mundane man on Coronation Street since his reign of terror came to an end over a year ago. Viewers of the ITV soap will remember he is responsible for the deaths of 4 people, one of which he murdered with his barred hands: Rick Nealon, Greg Wood. However, as the latter's daughter Kelly Nealon, Millie Gibson, finds herself becoming closer to homeless man Stu Carpenter, Bill Fellows, the supervillain could become worried about the newcomer's intentions and silence him once and for all. The drama kicks off in next week's episodes when Kelly, who has become homeless in recent scenes on the weeknight serial program, needs a present for a friend. Having struck up a bond with Stu since living on the streets, the youngster wants to thank him for all he has done for her. Unfortunately, when she asks Gary, he presents her with a handful of money, but her pride gets in the way and she tells him she doesn't want his charity. Knowing she needs some money and more of an income, the supervillain and his wife, Maria Connor, Samia Longcomban, offer the teenager a way out. They ask her to come and work part-time at the barber's and the youngster happily obliges as she wants to stand on her own 2 feet. Knowing this is the end of her time living on the streets, Kaylee goes to thank Stu for all his help and for looking out for her. However, his constant cough causes the youngster some concern and she tells him to seek some help so it doesn't develop into something worse. Back on the cobbles, Kelly is given a huge responsibility as Maria hands her the keys to the barber's to open up in the morning. This is a huge step for the teenager as no one has trusted her in Weatherfield since she left prison a couple of weeks ago. Worried about her friend's health, she tells him to sleep in the barber's overnight so he can be warm and not get poorly. Unfortunately, this could be a huge mistake as once Kelly has locked up for the night, Gary could go back to the barber's to sort out some business. He would be in for the shock of his life if he were to see Stu lying on the floor and would think the newcomer would be an intruder. Believing he was planning on robbing the place, the supervillain's angry streak could take over and he could lose his cool. Seeing red, the killer could murder the newcomer in cold blood, not realizing there was a completely plausible explanation for why he was in the barber's. Not wanting to make a scene, Gary would move the body and possibly take it to where he buried Kelly's father, Rick, in the woods. Coincidentally, Gary would have murdered another person connected to Kelly, so is this a precursor for the future as he ends up killing everyone the youngster gets closer to? The supervillain would have to return to the scene of the crime and get rid of any evidence his killer instincts have returned. He would have to clean up any blood on the floors of the barber's and wipe the CCTV footage so Maria wouldn't have known he was there. Kaylee would be devastated to think her friend has just left her, feeling the same way when her father Rick mysteriously disappeared. With 2 people she cares about being murdered by Gary, will she be the one to expose the killer for who he really is? The youngster could feel more alone than ever after leaving prison, and the actress who plays Kelly, Millie, explained this is going to be a recurrent theme for her character. She said, "Yes, she's at rock bottom and in some ways, it's even worse than when she was in prison, which is really shocking to see because you wouldn't have thought it could get any worse for her, but it does. She's free, but in a way, she's still locked into this nightmare because of what she's done. She still can't escape from it, and I think she feels more alone than ever. At least when she was in prison she had Toya, Battersby, and Imran, Habib's, support. But now they have to focus on foster daughter, Elsie, and she finds herself on her own, the soap star explained, and with Stu gone, she will feel a real sense of abandonment. Discussing the reaction she gets to her alter ego, Millie added, "At first everyone hated her, but now we've seen the other side and what actually happened. Some people do feel the way she was treated in court was harsh. It's a hard judgment to call. Is she villain or victim? I think she's both. She did start things off that night with the slap towards Nina Lucas, and the vindictive behavior. But now people are starting to see her vulnerability. I think some people are warming to her," the actress continued. However, how will Gary feel when he realizes he has murdered the one person Kelly felt closest to, and will he regret murdering someone else as well as her father? Coronation Street airs Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays at 7:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. on ITV.